Hi friends, welcome to VTeach. So coming to the intermediate code generation representation, I am going to discuss in this video about types and declarations. So now here we have to declare your types, data types. Now here the concepts what we are going to discuss are the type expressions, type equivalence, declarations, storage layout for local names. These are the four concepts what we are going to discuss regarding these types and declarations. What are types and declarations here? The applications of types can be grouped under checking and translation. The applications of types are grouped under checking and translation. What is type checking? Type checking is logical rules to reason about the behavior of a program at runtime. Specifically, it ensures the types of operands match the type expected by an operator. For example, int into float. Is it possible for us to construct this operation because it is an int into float? So it is not possible. This checking will be done by the first one, that is the type checking. The second one is translate applications. From the type of a name, a compiler can determine the storage that will be needed for that name at runtime. These are the two applications for one is the grouped under, one is the type checking and second is the translation applications. Okay. Now coming to the type expressions. What are the type expressions? Types have structure which will be represented using the type expressions. What is type expression? A type expression is a basic type or is formed by applying an operator that is called type constructor to a type expression. What is the type expression? Type expression is either a basic type, that is either an integer, boolean, float. All these are what we are calling them as the basic types. A type expression is either a basic type like int float. Int float is a type expression, or formed by applying an operator is also a type expression. This formed by an operator by applying an operator is also called as type constructor to a type expression. The basic types of constructor depending upon the language to be checked. So for example, the array of type int of 2 of 3, how it will be defined? See this one, 2 array, 3 array integer. So it will be represented as the type expression array of 2, array of 3 integer. So it is consisting of 2 into 3, that is the of type int. This is represented in the form of a tree in the figure. Okay. Next, what is basic type? As we have discussed, basic type is a type expression. What are the typical basic types that are included are boolean, character, integer, float, and void. A type name is also a type expression. Like for example, I am having A, B, C. This is declared as int. What is the name? Name of a name is ABC. What is the data type? Int. So ABC itself is a type expression because ABC is of type int. Int itself is a type expression. So that's why ABC, that is the type name, is also a type expression. A type expression can be formed by applying the array type constructor to a number and a type expression. If you are applying any array type, A of 10, for example, int A of 10. What is A of 10? A of 10 is an array. It is consisting of 10 elements. What are the data types? Int. So array A of 10 is also a type expression because it is of type int. Int itself is a type expression. A record is a data structure with named fields. This is also a type expression. A type expression can be formed by applying a record type constructor to the field names and their types. A type expression can be formed by the type constructor for function types. We write S goes to T. That is function from type S to type T. S may be an integer and T may be an integer. S goes to T is also a type expression. If S and T are two type expressions, then the Cartesian product S into T is also a type expression. Type expressions may contain variables whose values are also a type expressions. Okay. Now we are going to discuss about type equivalence. What is type equivalence? When we say that the two type expressions are equal, then we can say that they are type equivalence. If the two types are equal, then we can say that it is a type equivalence. Two expressions. This can be represented, two expressions of the same basic type are formed by applying the same constructor we can call it as a type equivalence. So now here let us discuss with an structural equivalence. So the algorithm we are taking, the name of the algorithm is SEQIV, that is structural equivalence. If S and T are basic data types, that is if S is integer and T is also an integer, then return true. Else, if S is equal to array of S1 comma S2 and T is equal to array of T1 comma T2, then return S equivalence of S1 comma T1 and S equivalence of S2 comma T2. Else, if S is equal to the Cartesian product, if S is equal to S1 into S2 and T is equal to T1 into T2, then return the structural equivalence SEQIV S1 comma T1 and sequential structural equivalence S2 comma T2. Now, else if S is equal to pointer of S and T is equal to pointer of T1, then again call the structural equivalence algorithm SEQIV. Else, if S is equal to S1 goes to S2 and T is equal to T1 goes to T2, then call sequential, that is structural equivalence of S1 comma T1 and structural equivalence of T1 S2 comma T2. Else return false. For example, int A and B, they are structurally equivalent because A is declared as int and B is declared as int. So that's why they are structurally equivalent. Now coming to the third concept, that is the declarations. Types and declarations using simplified grammar that declares just one name at a time. So here the grammar it is having is D goes to TID colon D or epsilon, T goes to BC, the record D or record D, B is equal to either int or float, C is equal to epsilon, the number or C. So here the non-terminal D generates sequence of declarations. These are the declarations. The non-terminal T generates basic data types like array, the basic data types, array or record types. B generates one of the basic data type, either the int or float, and the non-terminal C for component generates strings from 0 to 1, 0 or more integers, and each integer surrounded by the brackets. So an array type consists of basic type specified by B followed by array components specified by non-terminal C. What is a record type? A record type, the second production for T, it is of record type, is a sequence of declarations for the field of the record, all surrounded by the curly braces. This is how we can declare your types and declarations. The fourth one, storage layout for local names. So from type of a name, for example, int, we have to define before using your variable A. First, we have to define it with the data type. So what is the data type of A? It is the int. From type of a name, we can determine the amount of storage that will be needed for the name at runtime. For example, if you are defining int A or float B or character C. So for int, if for example, if it is required 1 KB, for float it is required 2 KB, and for C it is required 4 KB. We may know at runtime because sometimes it is required for us at runtime also we need to define something. So that's why we are taking here. At compile we can use the amounts to assign each name a relative address. The type and relative addresses are saved into the symbol table entry for the name. So whenever a name is found, immediately it has to be stored into the symbol table entry. Sometimes the data of varying length, such as strings, or data whose size cannot be determined until runtime, they are said to be dynamic arrays, or handled by reserving a known fixed amount of storage for a pointer to that data. So what are the things we have to store? The width of a type is the number of storage units needed for objects of that type. A basic type such as character, integer, float requires an integral number of bytes. For easy access, storage of aggregates such as arrays and classes is allocated one contiguous block of bytes. So always in the memory it will be stored continuously it will be stored at one memory location. Okay. Now here the type and width. See this one. The 4.3, the syntax data translation computes types and their widths for basic and array types. See this one. The SDT uses synthesized attributes type and width to the attributes we are having are type and width for each non-terminal, and two variables t and w to pass type, and width information from a b dot node in a parse tree to the node for the production c goes to epsilon. So here t goes to b. This can be written as t is equal to b dot type. What is the width? Because the size it is required, so that's why b dot width. C, t dot type is equal to c dot type, t dot width is equal to c dot width. B is int. What is b type? B dot type is integer. Okay, the width will always be 4. So whenever we declare the int, it is occupying the 4 memory locations, 4 KB or 4 memory locations. Next, float. What is float? It is 8. What is the type? B dot type is equal to float. Whenever the float it is identified, we have to store the width 8 bytes. C is equal to epsilon. Well, C dot type is equal to T and C width is W. We cannot say this one. C goes to the array of num followed by C1. C dot type array num dot value C1 dot type. And what is the width? Num dot value into C1 dot width. So here by using this type and width, we can allocate the memory locations for the having the int, float, the number, etc. for the records. So here the body of the T production consists of non-terminal B, an action, and a non-terminal C which appears on the next line. The action between B and C sets to T to B dot type and W to B dot width. For example, if B goes to int, then B dot type is integer, B dot width is 4. The width of an integer, that is the 4. Similarly, if B goes to float, what is the B dot type? That is B dot type is a float and the width is 8. What is the width of the float? That is 8. So here this is how we can lay out the storage layout for the local names. The production for C determine whether T generates a basic type or an array type. If C goes to epsilon, then T becomes C dot type and W becomes C dot width. Otherwise, C specifies an array component. For example, C goes to record num C1 forms C dot type by applying the type constructor array to the operands num dot value and C1 dot type. This is what we're calling it as the constructor, type constructor. Okay, so with this, I am concluding the concepts of types and declarations. In this, we have discussed about type expressions, type equivalence, declarations, and storage layout and local names. Thank you.